Hey guys, this is Sundrops, and I wanted to show you real quick my Jack Skellington and my Zero house that we built. So the Jack Skellington we put together last year, and this year I figured I'd make Zero's house, or my attempt at it anyway. I don't think it came out too bad. So on this video I'm just going to go over Zero's house, and then I'm going to make another video about Jack. So what I used was an old dog house that I already had. As you could tell, it was just laying in our empty lot for years. You could probably pick one up at a yard sale, or even when you're driving by somebody's garbage. If they have an old one that they're throwing out, you might want to just pick it up. So I did use the back of the one without the entrance. Obviously I used it as the front because I figured from the street that's what you're going to see, and honestly I could just probably rip off this foam and donate it, or maybe somebody might want it. They just have to pressure clean the doghouse. So in order for me to make this, I will show you what I used. Obviously an old doghouse, and then I bought these foam pieces. There were 6 of them. It's this stuff. 6 pieces, 3/4 inch by whatever. You see, so I'm sure you could use anything. Any kind of like insulation foam. I actually went to the Habitat for Humanity store in my local area, and I got this whole pack. It was 6 pieces of these sheets for $1. So that is a great deal. So anytime I can get a deal, I'll go ahead and do it. So as you can see, it's not wide enough to cover the whole front. So what I did was I figured I could just measure it out and measure it out, and then just stick them together. And that's exactly what I did. So I did this piece right here. I stuck it on with, I will show you, this stuff. Liquid Nails Wood and Foam Molding Adhesive. Strong instant hold. So that's what I used to do all of the gluing in this project. So what I did was I just cut right here, and I just put the glue along the frame of the doghouse around the outside. I held it on there. The second step I did was I cut out a little archway. Now what I did with that was I just put it right on the edges, and let's see if I can show you. I just kind of went like that. I didn't measure it, I just kind of eyeballed it. And then I just cut around here with a blade, and then I cut the inside. Now when I was cutting the inside, what happened was this piece right here cracked. But since it's supposed to look old, I didn't really mind too much, so I left it. Now with the parts that I had left over from the inside, when I made the cut like this, obviously I had a little piece left inside, the round piece. Now since I knew that that would fit inside of the arch, because obviously I'm using the arch, that's where I cut the Zero's face. And Zero's face is very simple. As you can tell, it's just like a teardrop with 2 little ears. And then the little dog bones were a little more difficult for me, but I kind of just went with whatever looked good to me. Then I stuck this foam on. Then I painted it black. I painted the inside black before I stuck on Zero and before I stuck on the dog bones, the crossbones. So you paint that, and then after you paint it, let it dry, and then you stick on the head. I painted the gray head the same color as I painted this, and the dog bones the same as I painted this. So I painted the inside of the archway black, then I stuck this on, I'm sorry. Then I stuck this on, then with a hot tool, which I will show you in a second. Okay, by hot tool I mean this thing here. It's called a heating iron by Craftsman. I'm sure different companies make it, but this is the one I used. It's usually used, I guess, for wood, you know, wood carving or whatever. But this is what I used for this, and that's worked just fine for me. Just make sure you use it in a ventilated area, because it does leave some, like a fume. It's not extreme, but I still did it outside. So then I just made his little teardrop eyes. And what I did for that was I just did it with a pen first to make sure I liked it so it wasn't too dark. You know, if you use a marker, then obviously it's gray. It's going to be hard to cover. So I really lightly went over it with a pen. It looked good enough to me, so that's how I did it. And as well with the letters, I just kind of wrote it out with a pen. I know it's not perfect, but then I used a little hot tool to kind of burn it out. And these I actually have a stencil. So I actually stenciled these out, and then I went over with the hot tool. The cross, I used that same foam. I made a long piece and 2 short pieces. Those are 2 separate pieces. And then I just used that same liquid nails, put a skewer through it and let it dry. Then I painted it gray. And then I used the same skewer to stick it down the middle. Now for the rest of it, I just got a little paper plate with a wet paintbrush. I put a little bit of black paint on it, and I made sure that the paintbrush was really wet, and I just kind of brushed it on to give it that effect that it's an old tombstone or an old crypt or whatever this thing would be, an old doghouse. Then I took a little bit of green. I just used acrylic paint for it, like just my crafting acrylic paint. And I went over it a little bit, little few spots with green, so it kind of looked like mold. But that was pretty much it. Now, I got the inspiration for this doghouse from a YouTuber, and her channel is There Goes the Neighborhood. And I'll make sure that probably while I'm speaking right now on the video, I'll write down her, how you can find her on YouTube. But she is the one that actually I got this idea from. She built a whole doghouse. Now, I didn't have really the time or the patience, so I kind of just got this part, this idea from her, and I just put my own little spin on it using a doghouse that I already had. I just figured it was easier for me, more time consuming the other way, and I really don't have the time. I mean, she cut out shingles and everything. It looked really, really, really good. Alright guys, so I hope you like my Zero doghouse, and I will show you guys about my Jack Skellington in the next video. Alright guys, bye!